All right. Well, thanks everybody for hopping on today, taking a little bit of time out of your, I'm sure, busy day to learn more about Cisco Meraki. My name is Doug Sutter. I am a Cisco Meraki sales representative. I actually cover Eastern Pennsylvania, and I'm located here in our San Francisco headquarter location. So it's really my pleasure today to talk to you about Cisco Meraki, hopefully share some really good information about what we do, how we differentiate from some of the solutions you might be aware of on the market, and then also share some really exciting best practices from Chris and the Community College of Denver. So today's topic, as I'm sure everyone is aware, is the complete connectivity at Community College of Denver. So again, want to thank everybody for joining and thank Chris, our presenter, who you'll hear from in just a little bit. So go ahead and jumping on straight into the agenda, a little bit of housekeeping. A little bit of what we're going to cover today is a brief introduction for those on the call that are not aware of Cisco Meraki and what we do. We're going to jump into how we differentiate, as I mentioned earlier. Second would be why you should choose Cisco Meraki within your environment. And then moving into really the exciting part and the meat of today's conversation would be a case study from the Community College of Denver. We're going to jump into a live demo of our dashboard where I'm going to show you what it really looks like, a Cisco Meraki full stack solution. And then we're going to move into the Meraki solution and all that it makes up the Meraki solution, and then talk about next steps. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump right in. Again, another little piece of housekeeping items for those on the call. Thanks for joining again today and for attending. You'll actually receive a free AP for IT professionals, but want to cover some of the requirements in order to receive that free AP. First and foremost, again, as a thank you for joining today, we'll be sending you an MR33 with a 3-year cloud license. But in order to receive that AP, you must be an IT professional, not a partner, or reseller, or consultant. Sorry, partner, reseller, or consultants. But you must register with a company email address when you registered for this webinar and confirm shipping address with your Meraki rep. If for whatever reason you need to change that email address or have concerns about the shipping address you entered, again, just talk to your Cisco Meraki rep. We'll take care of you and we'll get you that free AP. For full eligibility details or more information, you can also check out meraki.cisco.com/free AP. All right, so in order to claim that free device, you need to review the eligibility requirements online. Again, contact your Cisco Meraki rep, confirm your shipping address, and we'll get that right out to you. So now that we got that out of the way, really want to jump into why I think most people are taking the time out of their day to listen to this presentation, is to learn more about Cisco Meraki and how our solution is so revolutionary and will really help simplify your environment. So without further ado, the way that Cisco Meraki and our culture here, really our mission is to simplify IT through our cloud management, our cloud dashboard. And as you can see here, it's a complete cloud managed IT solution that is managed through a single pane of glass. And I really don't like using that word. I think it's a little overused in our industry, but it really is true. Unlike any other solution on the market, you can manage access points, switches, firewall, your MDM, EMM, mobile device solution, security cameras, and even we have a new product called Meraki Insights that we'll touch on in a little bit as well. But again, all of that is done through a single pane of glass that is cloud managed. And what that does for you is it simplifies your life. It gets you back to the things that you really want to accomplish. I was just out recently in my territory speaking with a customer, and it really was inspiring for me to see that they were saying that the more they get so much time back from having a Cisco Meraki solution that they're able to work with Raspberry Pis and Arduinos and all these things that were way over my head from a technical standpoint, but they're making the student and learning environment so much better because they have extra time that they can dedicate to being innovative and trying new solutions and so forth to enhance that learning experience. So that's in a nutshell what we're here to do at Cisco Meraki, is to simplify your life and get you back to other products that I think you're more passionate about. We are the leader in cloud managed IT. We're among Cisco's fastest growing portfolio with over 250,000 unique customers, 3.5 million Meraki devices online and growing, and over 5.5 million active Meraki dashboard users. And I got to say, we have to update this slide every week or so, it seems, because so many more customers are adopting and really getting on board with a cloud-managed network solution. So the way our technology differentiates from a lot of other solutions out there on the market, especially a traditional solution that a lot of people might be familiar with, is that it's a completely out of band and managed through our cloud. So first and foremost, what that gets you is an intuitive, simple browser-based dashboard. So I like to hone on this because out of everything we show you today, hopefully what you take away is that it's our dashboard, it's our cloud-based dashboard that is the biggest differentiator. It's not only simple, intuitive, and easy to use, because trust me, if I can do it, anybody on this call that has a background in networking can easily operate a Cisco Meraki dashboard. But you're not sacrificing any of those real, true enterprise class features, reporting, and so forth. Second, it's that cloud host centralized management that really is a game changer, because you can access your Cisco Meraki dashboard from anywhere in the world, from any device, whether it's your laptop, your cell phone, your iPad, whatever the case may be, you can manage your Cisco Meraki dashboard from anywhere in the world. Second, you get a completely scalable solution without any bottlenecks, unlimited throughput. You don't have to worry about there being that piece of equipment in your architecture that may be that bottleneck and really holding back the rest of your network from being that best in class. You can also add sites in minutes. So for a lot of you out there that have a very limited window to deploy a new solution, I've had customers that have called me saying, I was able to deploy an entire solution in days, weeks, where it would have taken me months in the past, and I would have had to bring in extra people or pay for services. I was able to do it on my own in just such a short amount of time. So amazingly scalable. Third would be that it is highly reliable. I get this question a lot. How reliable is the cloud? What happens if my network goes down? All that kind of stuff. Just rest assured that we have multiple data centers around the globe that ensure that the Cisco Meraki dashboard is always up and running. It is absolutely more reliable than any in-house infrastructure would be. And then you can see there we have four nines of uptime and so forth. Basically, if your internet ever goes down, the Cisco Meraki solution is still continuing to operate on its last configuration, so you can rest assured that you can rely on a Cisco Meraki deployment and solution. Fourth, and one of the things that I think is most important to everybody on this call, is security. In the world we're living in, we can never be too secure, and I know that's a big initiative for everybody. With the Cisco Meraki solution, no user traffic passes through the Meraki cloud. You can see there in the diagram on the right-hand side, it's just management data. All user traffic does not traverse the cloud. We are fully HIPAA and PCI compliant. We do third-party security audits, daily penetration testing, just to make sure that your solution is always cutting edge in security. And we do automatic firmware and security updates, which you can schedule, so you don't have to worry about a schedule happening during a mission-critical time where you can't afford for your network to be updating. But I want to pause there real quick, because along with the security and the firmware updates, which I think everyone is familiar with in any solution, is as vulnerabilities are identified, a patch or a firmware update is pushed out. Well, at Meraki, we go beyond that, because not only do you get firmware and security updates, but you get new features that are pushed out to all products and all customers for free. I can't tell you how many times, one of our most vetted product, really our bread and butter here at Meraki, is our access points and wireless. Customers still call me and go, wow, it's so cool that I've had a Meraki AP for 10 years, And now I go into dashboard and I have new features that weren't there yesterday, and that's, for one of our oldest product lines. So we're continuing to innovate, add new features through dashboard, and every customer gets that for free. So a Cisco Meraki solution evolves and gets better over time because of that cloud management as well. So specifically to our higher ed IT teams that are on the call today, we know that you have specific needs that are first and foremost within your environment. Your environment is very unique compared to other environments out there. So first and foremost, we know at Meraki that you need a high density solution. We have a full range of high performing wireless without the high maintenance associated with other solutions. You don't need that, on-prem controller. You can eliminate that cost. You can eliminate the concern of, controller going down and taking down, your entire network and so forth. That single point of failure. With Cisco Meraki, you don't have to worry about that. We have high density APs. We're completely Wave 2 at this point, and a full range of high density that will suit, even the largest auditorium, lecture hall, and so forth. Safety and security, again, I know that's forefront in everybody's mind, is keeping students and faculty safe. And we have a range of different ways you can accomplish that, both from the network security side and our MX appliance, our firewall, to the physical campus security. And one of my favorite and most exciting product lines that's relatively new for us is our Cisco Meraki security cameras. And those, again, are all managed through that single pane of glass, one cloud-managed dashboard. So we have a full range of solutions to keep both students and faculty safe. And then built-in tools. There are so many times where, you want to get in and, identify what may be occurring on the network if you get feedback or there's issues. With Cisco Meraki, we have built-in tools that make that as easy as possible for you. So we'll get into some of those, what those tools look like. But again, having it in one dashboard is extremely powerful, saves you time, and keeps your network performing at that high peak performance. So last but not least, we have powerful APIs, and with these APIs, we make creating the improved student experience a reality. I got to say, I've had a lot of customers in my territory who have worked with a API manufacturer that we partner with, and they have a fantastic solution that integrates our APIs, or Meraki's APIs with their product, which can, because our APIs have built-in BLE, you can get extremely granular information on where students are on the campus. So what they've been doing is they obviously have a student website and application, but what it'll do is it's an engagement and retention app. So if you're in a situation where you're worried about how to retain students or engage them so that they stay in school and maybe don't drop out after the first or second year, this application is fantastic because as they're roaming through campus, if there's a basketball game, it'll alert them and say, hey, there's something really fun happening. You're close to there. Why don't you stop in? And oh, by the way, 3 of your friends are in that auditorium as well. Plus, it gives the student or the faculty and staff reporting around maybe how often they're going to class because it knows their schedule and so forth. So you can get really granular and customize a use for using our data and Cisco Meraki APs to know where students are within your environment and ensure that they are engaged and that you retain those students throughout the 4 years or longer, in my case, that they'd be in higher ed. So just a few things to consider. Again, you can get more details by reaching out to your Cisco Meraki rep, and we'd be happy to put you in contact. So as you're going to hear today from a fantastic customer of ours, we are trusted within thousands of higher ed campuses. You can see there with Pfeiffer, Duke, St. Mary, Syracuse, Albany State, and so forth. The list goes on, and more are added daily, MIT and so forth. So, just a fantastic range of customers that would be absolutely happy to talk to you if you want to hear from one of your peers, hear how they evaluated other solutions and came to a conclusion of choosing Cisco Meraki. When you talk to your rep and talk to them about that free AP, ask them about reference customers, and we'd be happy to set you up with someone as well. So with that said, I'd love to really pass the torch here and pass it over to Chris, who is going to talk to us about his solution at the Community College of Denver. So with that said, Chris, you out there?
Yep, I'm here. Thanks, Brian. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
So when we were faced with replacing our network a couple of years back, we received some funding, and initially we were definitely looking at the traditional Cisco infrastructure. But I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to implement some Meraki gear to help out somebody else, and was able to get a good feel for how that worked. I had some particular issues specifically on my campus in the fact that I only have a couple of network staff members, and they're not dedicated to just networking. Also, we were having frequent reports of Wi-Fi issues. I was having issues with visibility into problems we were having with different applications on campus. We had a lot of trouble troubleshooting our network. Had inconsistent firmware around campus on different pieces of equipment. Issues with difficulty in tracking down where problems existed. Our network was overly complex at the time, and it was hard to verify that the network was configured consistently. So with all of those type of issues, I was really pleased to see how easy it was to work with the Meraki dashboard and to be able to resolve a lot of these issues. Obviously,
awesome.
Initially we were really nervous about certain aspects of Meraki. We were very concerned about losing access to the equipment when our internet went down. And we were a little bit concerned about the management traffic going back and forth to the equipment. So there are a couple of questions we had initially when we were looking at deploying this equipment. We after we deployed the equipment, we did find that we were relieved to find out that in the last 2 years of having the Meraki equipment in place, we have really never run into a situation where we couldn't configure our equipment as needed. Also, the management traffic going back and forth, while you can see it in the network, and definitely now because of the visibility on the network I can see how much management traffic is going back and forth, and it's really kind of a very minute portion of my network traffic.
Absolutely. So, Chris, we'll go ahead and jump in and just say, you know, based on these bullet points here, you definitely have, you know, a lot of students. It looks like a lot of faculty and staff. Tell us a little bit about just your you know, staff and what you were faced with, and then also, you know, it looks like you have a lot of buildings spread over, you know, a pretty large area of Denver. So, you know, what was it like when, you know, maybe a piece of equipment went down on one location? Did you have to roll a truck, and was that painful for you guys, and so forth? So maybe tell us a little bit about your previous environment.
So in our previous environment, we would lose connectivity to a piece of equipment in one of our buildings, you know, and we would get reports, of course, as many of the IT individuals out there would probably attest to the fact that when end users report a problem, they don't have a deep understanding in what the issue is. They just say, my email doesn't work, or I can't get to the shared drive. So we would get reports all over campus or between different buildings, and it was difficult to figure out where problems were in a simple way. We were having to physically go to different locations in order to see really what was going on. So it was difficult in the past.
And you're a two-person shop, huh?
Yeah, so, you know, having very few staff members that are available to work on those things during, you know, vacations and sick days, and, you know, we're pretty thin at those times, and it was difficult for us to manage because we're also, not only are we working with the network, we're all over campus doing various other things as well.
Absolutely. So what did a Meraki solution give you the ability to do going forward?
Well, moving forward, first off, we simplified our network in a really great way. Not that we couldn't have done that with traditional Cisco gear, but the Meraki gear performed just as well. I don't know, better, but it performed just as well as the traditional Cisco gear would. So I have been very pleased with the performance we get on our network. I was really pleased with the simplicity in deploying the network to begin with. And then once we got that network in place, just the visibility we get into finding problems on the network, just seeing where equipment's going down or links are going down, it just really simplified our ability to even remotely look at our network and see what's going on. You know, I'll get an alert before my morning starts and be able to pop into the network real quick from home without even having to launch a VPN link, and be able to look at my network and know that, oh, I've got a problem in one of my buildings. My small staff, we can talk to each other real quick and say, hey, when you pop in, go take a look at what's going on in this building or that building. So we're really able to more quickly respond to issues rather than being surprised with it once we arrive on campus.
Yeah, and I hear that a lot. So it sounds like you're able to be more proactive rather than reactive, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome. And I think best of all, that last bullet point there is no specialized training or certifications needed. You touched on it, how simple and intuitive the Meraki dashboard was. Just give us your perspective on that piece.
Well, it really helps in making visible what configurations are, and definitely, you know, allowing staff to make changes on the equipment is so much easier than it was in the past. You know, now it's a point and click. You definitely need to have an understanding of networks to really do it well, but Meraki almost gets to the point where it's plug and play, where you plug the stuff in and it just turns on and starts working.
Yep. Yeah, how cool is it? You can even configure your equipment while it's on a truck waiting to be shipped out to you. You can have it ready and configured and plug it in, and you're off and running, right? Pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was very helpful for us when we actually had to do a replacement of a lot of our equipment due to that Intel chip fault that happened about a year ago. And you know, we were faced with having to replace a good portion of our switches, and it was so simple to reconfigure and just plug the new equipment in place, copy the configuration, and did it all in the dashboard. And then just the hardest part was physically moving switches.
Yep, exactly. Cool. Well, Yeah, it looks like now you got complete connectivity across all your campuses, right? With access points, switches, security appliances. You definitely went that full stack, what we call full stack. And just tell me really quickly in your own words, like how has it really made it easier for you, and how much more visibility do you have on your network because it is all integrated and tied together?
Well, I especially like the wireless because, like I said before, we're getting a lot of complaints and reports that there were issues connecting to wireless, and the most difficult ones were when somebody could connect to wireless and a particular application didn't work right, and it was really hard to see what was going on. But now, especially with the wireless, we can see exactly what everyone's doing. We can see exactly what applications are using the most bandwidth and how it's traversing the network. I even get a morning report from our system that shows me a quick traffic analysis, and I'm able to quickly look and see the past day and whether or not there were any anomalies or anything that was causing any problems. Also, I love the ability to go back the last 30 days and see the patterns of traffic. It also helps me in planning for particular events or other things on campus. Just the ability to go back and see what my traffic patterns were and try and find the things that are going on campus. We know, what applications our students and staff are using. We know exactly which ones use the most bandwidth. We know physically where they are around campus, so we can plan on where we need to maybe adjust locations for access points, which we did not too long ago. We were having to shift access points, and the Meraki dashboard made it really easy for us to figure out where those changes were needed.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like you're blocking even applications like peer-to-peer and BitTorrent and so forth. We all know bandwidth is a limited commodity in a lot of cases, and it sounds like you're taking advantage of that capability to block applications. So you're prioritizing traffic to what students need to actually learn. Correct?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there are situations where we'll get an email from one of the movie production houses saying that somebody was downloading illegal content on our network, and now with the Meraki gear in place, we're able to see that much quicker, and we were able to identify it and then block it and prevent it from happening in the future.
That's awesome. Well, I got to say, luckily I didn't go to the Community College of Denver because, I would have been that problem child, and you would have had to block me from downloading as well. So that's great to hear. Sounds like a fantastic deployment, Chris, and so glad to hear that Meraki really simplified your life. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. I asked my staff just recently. I said, "So are you guys, comfortable with the fact that we selected Meraki?" And several of them were hesitant at first, but now, at this point, my staff is on board and they love it.
Absolutely. Any change can, be a little concerning for anybody, but glad to hear that everybody's on board and loving Meraki now. So, what's the next steps for you and the Community College of Denver?
There are a couple of features that we haven't been able to take advantage of. I'd really like to look into some additional features that are available, especially in the Wi-Fi area. We'd like to enhance more of our security side of things. So we've deployed identity services engine, and so there are some things I want to do to enhance our ability to do things there. We also will be expanding to one of our remote campuses that currently is still on some traditional Cisco gear.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because it's something that my customers love is that, obviously we're talking about Cisco Meraki as a cloud managed solution, but we are part of the larger Cisco family, and there are so many products out there that work together and integrate with the Cisco Meraki solution that it's really a one-stop shop, Cisco overall. So I'm glad you brought that up. So cool. If I can quote you, it looks like you're saying being able to manage everything in one dashboard is something I haven't been able to do in 20 years in IT. So pretty fantastic. Sounds like you're excited about Cisco Meraki. Is that correct?
Oh yes, yeah. It's been a great implementation. We are much happier with our ability to manage and control things that are happening on our network.
That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks again, Chris. Really appreciate the insight. I imagine you'd be, willing for anybody on the call today, if they want to learn more, maybe they can reach out to you and you can tell them a little bit more of the details, correct?
Sure.
All right. Awesome. So definitely want to leave some time at the end for Q&A. So as we go through this, if there are any questions, just remember, feel free to chat. We have people standing by that can answer. But again, hopefully we'll have some time at the end to answer questions. Really want to jump into what I think is the second most exciting part of today's call after hearing from Chris. Second would be jumping into our live demo. So with that said, I already have it pulled up. Here is our Cisco Meraki dashboards currently. And what we will do real quick is jump into our dashboard, which is here at our headquarter location. It's in San Francisco. And from here, you can see we're going to get a nice high-level overview of all the organizations that we manage, whether it's based in London, our London office, or Sydney, and so forth. You get a nice depiction of overall network health, what type of network it is, and so forth. You even get a little map here in the background to each location. So for any of you that are global type of customers, this is a really fantastic feature to be able to see all your networks in one spot as well. So we will jump into the San Francisco location, and let me just find it right here. Okay. So when we jump into San Francisco, specifically, it's going to take us to our client page. And before I jump into all the details, Chris, if anything along the way really jumps out at you, something that you would really like to highlight, of course, feel free to hop on in as well. But here on the left-hand side, just to touch on, for anybody that hasn't seen a Cisco Meraki dashboard, again, what makes it so intuitive, simple, and easy to use is that it's all in one location, that single pane of glass. So as I mentioned, you can manage multiple networks, either by location or by product type. This is all customizable to your needs. So if you want to have your access points on one network, you're switching on another, you can do so. Of course, you can have them all under one network. It's completely up to you. And again, you can see here just a click of a button and you're jumping between locations or products. On the left-hand side, anything you have within this organization or network is, for example, in our San Francisco, we have switching, wireless, that full stack, Cisco Meraki, of course. So everything is here on the left-hand side, and you can see that hovering over any of these, if I want to jump into my switches, I can do so in just a click. If I want to jump into wireless, I can as well. I also get network-wide information. So again, that overarching high-level view, or you can get really granular and jump into specific products. Now, to go a little further, you can see on any of these options, you have two sections, right? Monitor and configure. The first is monitor, so of course, if you want to get any reporting, any of that really rich analytics that you do not sacrifice with the Cisco Meraki solution, you can do that here under monitor. Any configuration changes, anything you want to change, obviously that'd be under configuration. So it's really that simple. Do you want to monitor or do you want to configure? So with that said, now that I've kind of described the layout of our dashboard, you can see the default is to go into network-wide clients. And what's cool about this is you're going to see all of your clients across your entire network for the last day, the last week, the last 30 days. You can even drill down and see only specific clients or only access point clients, any security clients. So you can really get granular on what type of clients you're looking at all in one location. So that's really the power of having multiple Cisco Meraki equipment in your environment, is that you're getting reporting on both wired and wireless clients all in one place.
Brian, another really great point there also is the fact that you're managing all these different types of equipment with really the same interface, and you don't have to learn something different to manage a different piece of equipment.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one great thing is, again, because you're getting information on both wired and wireless clients, you don't have to search for somebody. Are they connected wireless right now, or are they connected wired? You can just search somebody. So in my case, I'll search, and it'll pull up, here's my iPhone, here is my laptop that I'm connected to currently. So again, just typing somebody, you can see my laptop is connected wired, my cell phone is connected wirelessly. So I could jump into any of those devices in just a few clicks. You get a status that'll show here whether someone's offline, online, by either gray or green, and again, an indication whether it's wired or wireless as well. Also, you get a fantastic application pie chart here on the right-hand side, along with traffic over whatever time frame you specify. So this kind of goes back to what Chris had mentioned. If there's certain applications that you want to throttle or outright block on your network, you get some fantastic reporting on that layer 7 application access and visibility. So point is, here in our headquarter location, our number 6 application seems to be YouTube. A lot of YouTube watching, or Netflix is number 8. So if that became a concern, or if somebody here in our IT department wanted to find out who is contributing to maybe a large spike in YouTube usage or Netflix usage, you can simply click on and jump into that application. And once you do, you can see all the clients contributing to the access of this application, and you can see who is accessing most and what portion of that rule and so forth. You get all the operating system information, what kind of manufacturer and so forth. Let's go ahead and click on Jeffrey. Actually sits kind of close to me here. So for example, if Jeffrey was to come and I was, or if I saw a spike in a specific application and it just so happens Jeffrey was contributing most to that usage, I can jump into Jeffrey and see what his status is on the network, what SSID he's connected to, even see what access point he's connected to on a map. If you overlay your building map like we did, you can see the darker green is the AP that Jeffrey's currently connected to. You even get, signal strength and user information, his usage over the last day, the last week, 30 days. Again, you can customize what view you're looking at. And then you get that same fantastic application pie chart here on the right-hand side that would let you jump on in and see what applications this specific client is accessing. And you can see YouTube is number 1 for Jeffrey, so maybe I want to have a conversation with Jeffrey or block his usage on YouTube, but not necessarily block everybody else's. So what's amazing about the Cisco Meraki solution is right here under policy, you can actually add or we can completely block him. So let's say we want to block him from the network and have a conversation. I can just say CIT, and it'll block him. A splash page will appear on the client's device when they attempt to use the network. So I can quickly block them if I'd like, or I can add them to a group policy. And these group policies are customizable. You can set these yourself. And here at our headquarters, we have things like throttle, where we don't want video, but we allow other types of traffic. Or maybe we want to throttle video and music. Or we want to completely block certain applications like Facebook, YouTube, any of the ones that you saw within there. Or you want to just add them to an overall bandwidth abusing type of policy. So again, all these are customizable in our group policies and can be easily added to a specific client or a group of clients as well. So fantastic way to just jump on in from a high level. What you saw me was starting from a high level perspective of our network, identifying an application, jumping into that information, and then down to a very specific client.
And I also like the ability to jump right into the packet capture and the event log right on each client as well.
Absolutely. So you got pinging right here on the right-hand side. You can see installed software and just some amazing analytics. Again, I don't think you're not losing anything with a solution that's cloud managed. To Chris's point, you got an event log. You can packet capture, even add notes to this client so you can track them and so forth. But what's also, I want to touch on another product of Cisco Meraki, is our systems manager, our MDM, EMM solution that helps you manage any faculty or student devices you might have. And what's great is when you have a systems manager loaded onto a device, you just get that extra level of visibility, not only while they're on the network, but while they're off the network as well. So you can see Jeffrey's device has systems manager installed. So basically what that gives is just more information about the device, operating system. You can even set security policies and know whether this client is abiding by your security policies, like antivirus, having an antivirus installed and so forth. And then you can even get in and see, geo-based location. So geofencing, are they compliant with that? So if they maybe go outside of your geofencing area, you can be alerted and so forth. So really fantastic, really granular management capability when you have Systems Manager also included. You can see storage of the device, when they last checked in, or whether they're online now. You even get some fantastic live tools like being able to do a screenshot or remote desktop, even send a notification directly to the device, force an update, and so forth. If the device is ever lost or stolen, you can see here it's not going to let me do this to Jeffrey, but because it's grayed out. But as an administrator, you would have these options where you could completely erase the device. You can selectively wipe it, so you're not wiping everything. Lock it to ensure it stays safe, or even if it ends up being locked, which I hear a lot of times from iPad customers, is somebody tries to enter their password too many times, you can actually force a password change on that device and gain access as well. So just we won't cover all the things within Systems Manager, but you can see as I'm scrolling down, activity log and event log and installed applications, are there any missing applications, so forth. Just an amazing amount of analytics and deeper visibility into specific clients with Systems Manager. All right, so coming back to Jeffrey as an example, let's switch gears, and let's say, Jeffrey comes and says, hey, I've been having a terrible network experience. I'm not sure what's going on. Can you look into it? Well, one fantastic solution that Chris may be very familiar with and love is that we, with the system, with Cisco Meraki and having switches within your environment, we build out a topology page for you. So what's great is knowing that Jeffrey is connected to this access point. If I'm under Jeffrey's client device and hit topology, you can see here it's going to pull up a live topology page of my entire environment. So every switch, every access point, every Meraki camera and so forth is built out and updated for any changes that you make. So if Jeffrey was to come, again, I can say, okay, Jeffrey, you're connected to this AP. It knows Jeffrey's device up here. And you can see all the other access points and devices that Jeffrey is not connected to are in the lighter green, whereas the access point he's connected to currently is a darker green. We have alerts, so if it's in yellow, it's kind of something you might want to look into. If the access point was red, there you go. It's the access point that may be the problem. If everything else down the line, if the access point, if the switch that access point is connected to, through this closet and stack through all the way down through the firewall and out to the internet, if everything's green, it must be the client device, and that helps you, cut a little bit of time in troubleshooting and identifying where that problem may be. So let me go ahead and delete Jeffrey's device here so we just see a full list. And again, we give you all this information. You don't have to do anything. If anybody on this call has built a topology page, I haven't personally, but I've heard it's cumbersome, it's expensive. and just is really outdated the second you make it, because if one port is unplugged and plugged into another, there you go. It's obsolete almost immediately. So we do this for you, and it's just a fantastic way to troubleshoot very quickly as well. So you can see here everything in green. Looks like we don't have any that are yellow or red, which is kind of unique for our environment. We have a lab downstairs who's constantly testing and breaking on purpose. So it's very common for us to see yellow and red, but we don't today. But whenever we do, it'll be right here. And back to Chris's point, if a device goes offline, you can be proactively alerted, so you can quickly jump in before you even get the first call saying that there are network issues. You can download this, you can print it. So again, fantastic. I love our topology page, and we even you can see here it's in beta right now, but is available to all customers. We even give you layer 3 topology information too, so you can see VLANs and clients and so forth within your environment in a layer 3 topology as well. So yeah, jumping into, let's go ahead and go into a specific access point. So I think the AP that Jeffrey was connected to was over here on the right-hand side. Let's say, it was in yellow or maybe even in red when Jeffrey came to us. What we can do is jump directly into that access point. So you can see it's our naming convention here. It's probably the 3rd floor, but we name it this way. You get to see the model and serial number for this device, all the address where it's located, SSIDs it's broadcasting or not broadcasting, channel, all that great, network information that you may need, even down to which port and which closet switch it's plugged into. So again, want to pause and just say APs with Meraki know Meraki switches, and you just get so much more visibility and access when you have a full stack Cisco Meraki solution. So with that said, you get live uplink traffic. So as it loads here, you can see your uplink traffic. You get current clients. That looks like there's 11 on this access point. To Chris's point, you can ping each client if you'd like to. If there's an issue, you can jump into them directly. So it's all hyperlinks here, which helps you jump into anything that you'd like to as well. You get historical data of connectivity for the last day, week, month, overall usage, all the clients that have been seen for the last day, how much data was transferred through this access point to these clients. You even get some amazing ability up here on the top with an event log where you can see any event that occurs, the location of this access point within a map. We overlaid our building map with Google Maps, so you can see where each AP is located. You can even snap a photo of this access point if you'd like, so that if you're trying to direct somebody to where this access point is located in your building, they can see a live photo. You even get troubleshooting tools like being able to ping the device, blink the LEDs if you're trying to direct somebody to a specific access point and so forth. But I really want to just take a second real quick, because this feature is relatively new, and and again goes back to the fact that with a Cisco Meraki dashboard, we push new features to you automatically. So this RF tab came recently and is fantastic for wireless troubleshooting on either 5 gigs or the 2.4 gigahertz radios. You can select whatever time frame you want to look at. What's cool is it shows you by little blue dots here when an event has occurred. So at this time, an auto event had occurred, so I can see the details, see that it was an auto RF channel change. So access points are continuously scanning the environment, optimizing their channel and power levels and so forth. So you can see when that occurs. During that time, you can see what active clients were on that access point, its overall channel utilization, overall usage. Looks like there was a spike here at this time. So again, just some fantastic information if you need to troubleshoot this access point. And again, new feature, free to all customers, was pushed out overnight. So with that said, I want to jump in really quickly to our switches, because what you'll see here that I want to highlight is, first and foremost, that you can quickly see if there are any devices offline, alerting. Looks like they're all online currently. But let's go ahead and scroll down to this closet switch. It's an MS 350/48 full power, and the reason I want to highlight this switch is it should look very familiar to the last screen that I was just on with access points. So back to what Chris and I have been talking about is how simple and intuitive the Meraki dashboard is that every product line looks and feels very similar to each other. So you really only need to learn how to navigate once, and you can pretty much manage any product with Cisco Meraki. And when it comes to access points, same map and good network information here on the left-hand side with firmware information, configuration, and so forth, but also a visual representation of that switch, what ports are connected. If there are PoE devices connected, it'll show a little lightning bolt and so forth. So you can jump on in directly into a port if you'd like to by selecting and see historical data, its configuration, overall status. You can even troubleshoot that port and so forth. So really fantastic information, again, in a visual representation here. You get, again, all the power information, event log, its location, and some great troubleshooting tools that are very similar to access points. But I really want to highlight really quickly this cable test, because I've heard from many customers that this is extremely valuable. If somebody's ever done a cable test, it requires a lot of equipment, sometimes really expensive equipment. So a Cisco Meraki switch will do a cable test for you here through the dashboard. So again, this goes back to how powerful our dashboard is, that this can be done remotely from anywhere in the world on any device. So that's about two of our product lines. Just really want to highlight one more really quickly because we unfortunately won't be able to get through all of our products. Again, I really encourage you to reach out to your Meraki representative if you'd like to learn more. But I just want to touch on probably my favorite, most exciting product going back to the security piece is, of course, we have our firewall and access points, and every piece of Meraki has features built in to keep student and faculty safe, but none more than our security cameras. And you can see here, I'll just jump into our video wall really quickly to give you a little snapshot. But from here, looks very similar to most solutions with a video wall. But what's great is you can customize and edit your layouts really quickly, move around, make boxes bigger, smaller, in just a few clicks, hit save, and you're off and running. You can break out your network into different tabs here at the top. But what I like to show is our stairwell. This is live look at our location here. And I won't get into every feature, unfortunately, based on time, but I do want to highlight motion search, because this is a great feature. If somebody comes to you and says they set down a device, they turned around, it was gone, rather than having to pause, fast forward, rewind, if you do a motion search, draw a box, scroll down to the bottom, and there will be events that occurred within that square. So when I click on one, it'll quickly jump to that event and show you that somebody either walked through that square. You can identify the event you're looking for, or go back down and pick a different one so you can hone in on the event quicker. So again, really fantastic solution. What's great here is that, again, back to Chris's point, no VPN needed. You can give local police, fire access to their own Meraki dashboard with their own login where they don't need any VPN. And you can rest assured that you can see live footage from anywhere on any device. Again, from the Meraki app on your iPhone, you could be watching live footage of your environment with the Cisco Meraki camera. So fantastic solution. Again, would suggest you reach out and learn more from your Meraki rep. So with that said, I want to go back really quickly. I'm going to breeze through a few slides and then hopefully leave some time for Q&A. So really want to wrap this up by saying, again, we were only able to touch on a few products, but the full portfolio is really fantastic and amazing. It gives you so much more visibility and control of your network. So learn more, reach out to your rep, and we'd be happy to talk to you about the complete full stack solution here at Cisco Meraki. When it comes to licensing, we have a simple all-inclusive licensing. It's a one-to-one relationship, so one piece of hardware has one license. And as I mentioned and even showed you a few, with that licensing model, you get much more than just the push and firmware updates and so forth. You get new features and just so much is actually built into that license, like 24/7 support, 365 days a year, follows the sun. We have support in Sydney and the UK and here in San Francisco. And then warranty on hardware and length of hardware warranty depends or varies per product, but we'd absolutely be happy to share more information as well. So the next steps here for everybody on the call, definitely check out our blog, meraki.cisco.com/blog. Definitely would love to get you a risk-free evaluation of any product within our portfolio. Anything that you heard of today, we can send you for free. We pay shipping. All we ask is you dedicate the time to really spend time with it and run it through its paces in your environment, but a fantastic way to really feel comfortable with the Cisco Meraki solution is, as Chris had mentioned, he had hesitations, but getting his hands on it and playing with it really put those hesitations to bed pretty quickly. Last but not least, joining the community. This is fantastic because this is a community of Meraki customers, potential Meraki customers, who are all discussing the solution and helping each other out. If you want to hear from your peers and hear candid conversations, go here. This is a really fantastic place, community.meraki.com. And then we have a amazing promotion right now that I wanted to touch on, Buy 5 Stream Live, and it's from now until July 28th. If you purchase any combination of 5 high-density access points, we're actually going to send you a free security camera with a 3-year license. Maximum 2 cameras per account, but really an amazing way to not only get our high-density access points, but also your hands on some free security cameras that I showed you. Just a small glimpse of what those can do. So with that said, I want to leave just a few minutes for Q&A. So if there are any questions, Tanya or anybody, do you want to ask away? Feel free to ask away. And while we're waiting, Chris, anything you would add in there?
Or? No, I think you covered it pretty well. One thing that I did want to mention, that the licensing was nice in that I don't have to worry about SmartNet and knowing whether or not something was or wasn't on SmartNet. They just all are covered.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're waiting on, let's see.